welcome to the Haunted Western Block and our first episode of what's called the Chopping Block.
The Chopping Block.
The Chopping Block. It's going to be a 6-episode series as we're starting right now, talking about some paranormal, talking about some history, some true crime, a lot of true crime, serial killer stuff, and all that stuff that ties in. But along with that, we are also going to be cooking some fabulous dishes that you could also have at home. You can take on the road to any of your adventures, whether they're paranormal, camping, or anything like that. So they're simple, quick, and easy.
Awesome meals that you can take here when you come.
Exactly. We have microwaves here, so when you come and do your privates here, you can bring your food with you and heat it up in the microwave. But again, it all ties in wherever you want to go, wherever adventure you got. These are going to be quick, easy, 30-minute meals that you can take with you on the go, or you can make ahead and have them at home for days for 5 to 7 days as you're eating your meals. However you want to do it.
Would you say they're meals that even I could cook?
I wouldn't go that far, but pretty close. We'll go pretty close. Yeah, she should be able to cook some of these. She has a good teacher, so she should be able to cook some of these.
There you go.
So tonight we are going to be making a healthier version of buffalo chicken mac and cheese. We have the chicken marinating. We're going to use some cottage cheese, some cream cheese, cheddar cheese, skim milk, salt, pepper, and garlic, and some Frank's hot sauce. We're going to blend that all together in a sauce after the chicken is cooked, and we're going to do that. But for our first episode tonight, we are going to throw it to Heather for a little bit. And she is going to give us the history of this beautiful complex that we have as we get everything started. She's going to tell you something about how it started, who some of the directors were, how they did their stuff, and how things go. We're going to tie it all in with some cooking, and we're going to have a good time as she does that, and we'll throw some questions at her and see if she can answer them, and go from there. And we know she can because she's done so much history on this place that it's going to be very good. So, without further ado, Heather, give us the rundown of how the Western Block started, and that'll get this chicken going.
The Western Block. Well, 2 days ago and 137 years ago, 5 employees from a neighboring company came next door and decided to start what was called the Western Block. And what is the Western Block?
Oh, before you start, what was the name of the company that they left to start here?
The Boston Lockport Lock Company. So, they were 2 companies that ended up making the exact same thing right next door to each other. Kind of odd.
Very, you would think.
But
I mean, I guess if you're disgruntled and you want to really aggravate your ex-employer, something you would want to do, right? I mean, something I would do.
So these 5 employees came next door and they started this company that built pulleys and wheels for ships all over the world. So a block is part of that system, and they were quite prosperous, these individuals. Flash forward to the early 1900s, and there was an individual who is quite well known in this area of Lockport, New York, who took over as the director, and his name was William Keenan Jr. So early 1900s, this became his factory when he took up and bought up all the shares. Ooh, that smells good. All right.
Can you guys hear this?
Sizzle, sizzle.
Sounds sizzle good. Smells so good. I wish we had smell-o-vision so you guys can smell how good this chicken smells.
Awesome.
I used a Mrs. Dash salt-free seasoning on it, so that's what's on there as we cook this up. Tell us a little bit about Mr. Keenan. Just give us a little bit of his background, where he came from, how he got things started, that type of stuff.
Mr. Keenan was actually from North Carolina, so he was not an original person from Lockport, but he took up home here because he loved this area. And when he took over, he got married, and he actually has a house that is very well known, and it's the Keenan Center now. But not only did he work here at this factory, but he's also as a part of a whole bunch of other ventures.
Correct.
Want to mention some of those?
Sure. William Keenan Jr. was the brother-in-law of Henry Flagler, who was partners with Rockefeller in the Standard Oil. Flagler also had a lot of other ventures. He actually connected the mainland Florida to the Florida Keys through the Florida Atlantic Railroad. So as we go along, we're going to learn some more about that stuff too. He had some pretty good ventures about that. And after Flagler married Keenan's sister Mary, which we will touch on a little bit because there's always,
There's something about Mary.
right?
There's always something about
Always
Mary.
something about Mary. So we're going to touch on that too. But after he married his sister, he became like his CEO, his go-to guy. He controlled all his businesses and watched all that stuff for him. And then again, especially after his death, he took care of all of that stuff as well.
All those ventures. So, Mr. Keenan was very prominent to this area. He had offered to build a brand new high school, which the city declined for some reason. What else did he do? He was very involved in.
He was very involved in Union Carbide.
Yes.
When he was in college, him and his professor, they, well, the story goes, because there's also another story, I believe the gentleman's name is George Brown, who was in Canada. Between the two factions, they were arguing and discussing whether or not who was the one that found the byproduct of calcium carbide, which was acetylene. Acetylene. So the byproduct of calcium carbide is acetylene. And Keenan and his professor had discovered that. George Brown had discovered that. There was a tiff back and forth as to who did what.
A long-running tiff, mind you, because Mr. Keenan never got the recognition as a scientist, which he had always lifelong
Oh, absolutely.
told that he had really aimed to get that recognition as a scientist. He got plenty of recognition for all sorts of other things.
Absolutely. He was a famous entrepreneur. He did a lot of good stuff.
Oh, even at his farm. He had a dairy farm
Yep.
with award-winning, prize-winning cows.
Award-winning heifers. He did a lot of experimentation with milk.
Yeah.
And he really got aggravated with the government, got mad at them when they brought in pasteurization and homogenization because it really kind of put a big damper on his business.
Yeah.
But doing that, he adjusted on the fly and made sure that everything was working and was able to get everything together. But, so now you know a little bit about Mr. Keenan and what his background is.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about what he did here at the Western Block to make it what it is, to bring these people in and things they've done to upgrades and stuff like that as far as building the place themselves.
Sure. But first, one question.
Sure, absolutely.
What am I supposed to be doing as far as cooking?
You're going to be making the sauce very shortly, so you're going to have to cook and talk. You're going to have to cook and talk at the same time. So
We'll see how that goes.
exactly. So that's why we're. That's why. So all right. So
So
at
let's
this
get
point in
the
time.
facts out of the way first.
So at this point in time, you can actually start making the sauce, which you're going to do five teaspoons of the cottage cheese, but you also have to talk at the same time.
Teaspoon, right?
That's a teaspoon, yes. 5 of those. Actually, make it 6. We'll see what it looks like when we're in there.
Kiwi?
Yep, just like that. Good.
Oh,
Yeah.
Alright.
2.
2, 3.
Because we want to get about a cup to a cup and a quarter of cottage cheese. One more. Good, perfect. That's enough. Excellent. Good. So then you're going to put in the, you're going to cut the cream cheese in half. You're going to put half of the cream cheese in.
Ooh.
So are you going to talk at the same time, or are you
Yes.
just going to concentrate on making sure you don't get it
Well,
wrong?
I am absolutely trying to concentrate on not screwing this part up.
I know. So I will. So what would you like me to tell them? What were you going to say?
Mr. Keenan was awesome.
Yes, we know how awesome this is. So anyway, Mr. Keenan had left a lot of journals back that we've been going through
Yes.
different things. There's some family recipes in there that we're going to be using later on, especially some alcoholic drinks that they used to use for Christmas time. He also had journals. They were meticulous about the daily life and things of that nature here. One of the rooms that he built here, he actually kind of busts on himself a little bit because he made it about, instead of making the room even together, he made it about 4 inches taller. So he had to put 2 steps in to get up above the other room.
He admits in his journal that he did not check the floor plans prior to them building that. And it was not quite lining up like it was supposed to.
Right. So now you're going to want to put the cream, the cheddar,
Olive?
cheddar cheese, about 3/4 of that, and then you're going to put the salt, pepper, garlic in, and the hot sauce. And then in the hot sauce, then you're going to want to put 2.5 of these in to start to see how it goes. But as I said, they were building this building. The metal or the construction material was lined up down what's the name of the street?
Market Street.
Down Market Street. And the people that worked here built this. So they built it, as Heather would say, with their own blood, sweat, and tears. So
Yes.
everything that was, all the improvements, everything was done here, was done by the employees here. And it was such a family-oriented thing that they were happy to do it. And it's very fantastic because we get a lot of,
All this?
yes, please. We get a lot of cool interactions because of that. Would you like to continue?
Yes. So backtracking just a tad, this complex is good 100,000 square feet large. And it sits right on the historic Erie Canal. And if you didn't know what I was just doing right there, I'm making a mess and I'm trying to hide that. We put all this in.
Yes.
And the complex now is not what it first started off as when they started the Western Block Company. But even prior to that, this
As you can see, I apologize. As you can see, I put the noodles in to get them ready. The chicken's almost ready, so you're gonna need 2.5 of those of milk inside there.
okay. So the complex, we actually have 4 and a little more buildings on site that were built from the stone quarried out of the canal as they were building the historic Erie Canal, which is right across the street. Uh-oh, this is not,
Would you like me to do it so you won't spill it?
I think I got it.
All right. You sure?
Nope.
No, I know you don't. All right, I know you don't, but that's
You
like
said how many?
2.
Oh, okay. Like, how is that gonna fit in this? But he said 4.
You did not say 4. I said 2.
Ooh, look at that.
Look at you go.
Look
Now you
at
put the
that.
top on, put the top on, screw the top in. I'll take the milk for you, put it over here.
Alright, this is the fun part.
So now this is gonna be very loud across the speakers. You're gonna hear this really good.
As long as I get the lid on tight, though.
Just won't worry about it. Put it down. We got paper towels and clean the mess. We have paper towels to clean the mess. No worries. There you go. Put it in.
You didn't notice I went over the next building. And here we go.
Blending that. We're gonna try to talk over the blender.
It's not gonna work.
Hopefully you can hear us. Keep going one more time. Couple more. Get that thing nice and creamy. Once she's done with that, we got about another 3 or 4 minutes and our noodles will be ready. We are using Barilla protein pasta. They take 5 to 7 minutes to cook. So they'll be pretty much almost ready.
Oh my. Go over the pot.
Yep, stir the pot. There you go. Yeah.
So, Frank,
Go ahead.
you keep it really tasty.
Uh-huh.
How do you do that? How long have you been cooking for?
Since I was 14, my mother gave me two options. I could learn how to cook and clean and do my own laundry, or I could go get married. And since I was 14 years old, there's no way in hell I was getting married. So I decided I was going to learn how to cook and clean. So I started cooking, started out with easy things, ham and cheese omelets. Gradually moved on to different stuff. I started paying attention to my mother when she was cooking and making sauce and making meatballs. My grandmother when she was cooking and stuff like that. Picked up the recipes from them. If you're Italian and you know there's not really a recipe, it's pretty much, yep, okay, that's pretty good. We know how that works. Everything is. So
So, cooking for a long time.
I've been cooking for quite a long time. I, graduated with some different stuff. Now I can make chicken marsala, chicken parmesan, chicken francais. I'm not a chef for 40 years, but I'm pretty good at different things. So, tell us a little bit more about what went on here at the Western Block, how they did things. Were there any women that worked here at the Western Block? And what else Mr. Keenan did in the area as far as like hanging out and doing stuff like that?
Yeah, so Mr. Keenan, like you said, he took over the complex. The complex did not originally start as the entire building complex that it is today. It started in one building on site. And by the time that the Western Block closed,
I just want to say very nice job on making the cheese sauce.
oh my, look at that.
Very nice
I
job.
just love this.
So, right, so even she can learn how to cook. Go ahead, continue.
By the time that the Western Block closed in the early 1990s, or late 1990s, it had amassed the entirety of what it is today. And to Mr. Keenan's efforts. As the Western Block grew, they took over more of the property, and it was actually a little bit bigger at one point. The property did include a whole waterfront right on the canal. It was the powerhouse for this facility. And they bought that because they transitioned out of using another method to.
So this property actually was across the street as well?
Yep.
It went on both sides?
On both sides of the street,
Okay,
yep.
I never knew that, interesting.
Yeah. So, anybody who visits this property, if you park in front of the building, which everybody usually does, you'll see a nice, beautiful park right across the street, and there's a little gazebo, and just beyond that is the canal. So we're right there on the water. But this gazebo,
Our pasta's ready, so I'm gonna train the pasta, and we're starting to combine everything together. Continue, sorry.
the gazebo actually sits on top of a roof, and not a lot of people know that. So that roof is part of the building that was part of the Western Block complex that powered this entire site. But this site was powered by another very unique feature to Lockport, and that was raceways. So it was all hydropowered at one point in time, the entirety of the complex. And
So they ran this massive complex just on water and hydropower?
just on hydropower. Yeah. They also utilize steam during the winter,
Okay.
because,
Well, because
the canal
canal
was so
freeze,
big,
right, water
right.
freezes, correct.
Right. But in the warm weather months, when water was flowing, they utilized the canal system and a whole hydraulic system and waterways that came down both sides of the canal from the upper locks, that generated enough power to power the foundry, all the stamping machines.
Oh, so what was in the foundry? You said stamping machines,
They had
what else did they do in the
They
foundry
did,
itself?
prior to the stamping machines, they actually hand burn a
Really?
lot of her parts. Yes.
That's awesome,
That's amazing.
right? Especially, because I guess it would make sense, because that's all they had at that point.
When they started off small and they just grew, they expanded to a very large company. But yes, the foundry had stamping machines, and they had other machines for metalworking.
So for like cast and die for stuff,
Yeah,
for dies and
yep,
stuff, so when they
yep.
would do their, so now were all of these parts and pieces made out of metal, were they made out of wood, what were they made from?
They were made out of metal.
Okay.
I'm not sure the exact composition. However, that is a great question because I'm sure we have that information in
Right.
one of our rooms.
Now, I know when we
And
do,
we'll talk about that in a little bit.
I know when we do some of our stuff, we go through and I see all these big wooden things.
Yeah.
They look like giant wheels with holes in. What are those things?
Those are molds. We have the original molds for their parts here on
Really?
site. Yep.
That's pretty cool.
And what was explained to me is
And
some
you
of
mean
these
Tim
molds.
hasn't taken one of these molds yet?
Tim.
As we get a look and he's, all right, go ahead.
So they made a lot of pullers and wheels, and to craft the metal, they heated it, melted it, poured it into molds. It was a sand process, is what I was explained.
Okay.
Not entirely sure how it
A
works.
sand process?
Yeah, so these
Would that be like sandblasting maybe? Or?
no, so
Okay.
the blocks, the wood blocks,
Yeah.
were at one point in time, the metal was poured into sand, and the sand
I got you. Okay.
lined the block,
I've seen that on.
Yeah. or were formed and shaped by
I've actually
the
seen that on different
wood blocks.
whatchamacallit reels, on different Facebook reels where they're reproducing different types of metal, where they make a big box and then they push the piece down in and they put the metal. I got it.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
So
So they crafted from hand all the way up to machine in their long existence as workers here at the block.
nice.
Yeah, yep. And we know that they did a lot of work, during all the world wars.
So tell us during the World War. So we all know that when the
But
factories
even
closed
during
down during the
Vietnam.
World Wars,
Right.
and the men left here. Men left and went to war while the women took over the
Right.
facilities.
But not
Did that happen here?
No.
What happened here?
Here, the men were considered essential to wartime efforts.
Okay.
Because they were making parts for the war. And they were considered an essential business, and they were essential employees for wartime efforts.
That's
And we have some phenomenal documents here on site, commissioned from the War Department, requesting certain parts for some of their
ships and stuff.
well,
So there's secret projects.
Yeah,
Let's say secret projects. We'll say that. Yes.
The description for one of these parts was based on, like, when this other bridge fell down, we need something similar.
To be able to lift it out of the water?
They didn't even explain. Just,
right,
if
okay.
you're familiar with that scenario, we need something similar. So were they hinting they were going to blow up bridges? Or were they hinting that it was already blown up? Or
Gotcha,
or is it just something they needed in case? You know, it's you got to read between the lines and some of those things. But this was a commission project from the War Department requesting specific things with specs. So we do have specs for those parts, which is just absolutely interesting.
So now,
And that's one of thousands of documents that are still on site.
so now,
We lost a chicken.
piece of chicken.
Flew the coop.
Chicken run away, chicken run away. So now that we know a little bit more about the Western Bloc, tell us a little bit more about Keenan and how he came to be, and how the Western Bloc actually was able to expand, and a little bit about his sister and Mr. Flagler.
Well, so Keenan, from North Carolina, had a sister, and her name was Mary.
Mary Lily.
Mary Lily Keenan Flagler Bingham. And we'll get into more of that later, but we're going to focus on the Flagler part of it.
So as you can see, keep going. As you can see, I combined the chicken and the macaroni and cheese. I am actually going to combine the sauce inside now, and we are going to pour this together.
That
Keep
looks
going.
amazing. So, Mary married Henry Flagler, and they had a very interesting marriage because she was 23 and he was what?
65. No gold digging there.
No, not whatsoever.
What were
You know, back in the early
what
1900s.
were the interesting circumstances behind their getting together, behind Flagler's ex-wife?
Oh, goodness. So, Mr. Flagler, being the powerhouse that he was, we'll go with that,
Yeah, that sounds
was
good.
able to get a law put on the books that allowed him to
And where?
Florida,
Not in?
New York, or North
Correct.
Carolina,
New York.
or Kentucky, or
Not in New York.
any of these other.
Correct. But he was able to get it out of the books in Florida.
Yes,
And what did that law state?
that allowed him to divorce his wife
Yeah, but
on the account that she was nuts.
correct. So he placed her in a asylum,
Asylum, yes. Yep.
got her committed to
Mhm.
being crazy, and
Yep.
was able to divorce her.
Yes.
And then what happened?
And very shortly after,
A year later,
mhm,
the law was taken off the books.
Yep.
Because he had already,
married. Miss
Mary.
Mary.
here you go.
There was something about Mary.
See all those lead-ins? I'm pretty good with some stuff. See, I'm really,
Interestingly
I
enough,
really am
his
half
first wife
smart.
was named Mary as well.
correct.
There. Well, the first wife's children didn't like Mary, but that's a separate topic altogether.
So as you can see, we're gonna let this heat up just a little bit. Keep going. I'm going to lift the pan a little bit so you can see how this looks on camera, and let me know if you can see. Can you see that on camera? How does that look? Look, see, it all comes together, nice and creamy, just like your Kraft mac and cheese, but better. So we're gonna let this heat through a little bit more, because then we let it cool down, and continue talking about Mary.
So, Mary and Mr. Flagler date for quite a long time. And then, well, not that much. I'm lying at all, actually. I take that back completely. They
No.
didn't date for a very long time.
No, but they knew each other for a very
They
long
knew
time
each other
because
for
they
a very
ran in
long
the same
time.
circles
Yes.
with stuff like
Yep.
that. Yes,
Yep.
she had met him through friends of his already,
Yes.
so they knew each other.
They,
Yes.
they were very familiar with
Correct.
each other.
Correct.
So, Mr. Flagler ended up passing away, and Mary inherited
How did Flagler pass away, by the way?
$100,000. He fell down a flight of stairs.
Fell down a flight of stairs. How old was
He was, oh gosh, I don't recall,
he? 89.
89.
See, a lot of dumb facts I know. Anyway, continue.
So, when he passed away, she ended up inheriting a $100,000 $100 million of his money. And there were some odd circumstances with her after that. She was considered the richest woman in America. But she ended up passing away, and Keenan ended up utilizing some of that funds,
some of his inheritance,
to make the Western Block what it became to the massive complex that we now see it as today.
And as both Flagler and Mary passed away, Keenan continued to run his businesses and keep his businesses going throughout, I believe, at least the next 20 years.
Yeah.
To the point where he was actually, if I recall, he was actually put on the stand during the Standard Oil trials to answer questions because Flagler wasn't around, and he really was not happy about that. He was
Could you imagine
pissed
that?
because he got his name dragged into it.
Oh.
So, that would, if I'm not even involved with that, I would be completely upset about that. But Mr. Keenan was a great guy.
Yeah.
He was a fabulous entrepreneur,
A philanthropist.
philanthropist.
Wow. Yeah.
Didn't he help with like aerial photography and stuff like that?
Yes, he did.
And
Yeah.
what else was there? There was something else he did.
Helped save windows. He devoted a lot of money to a church and their renovation of some windows. And it doesn't say that he was very religious, but his wife was.
Right.
And she was he got very involved with helping her do that. They never had any kids though, so.
No, they never had any kids, so he didn't have.
it's
So
a
he.
shame.
So in his death,
legacy is really only the 2 buildings that I
Right,
found here.
and because Ranelagh Farms is actually, after his death, it was actually dismantled, so to speak, if that's the word you want to use for it. His heifers were taken to not university, it was taken to North Carolina State University to continue the work and stuff like that.
Right.
So, as you can see, we are finished here.
That was
We are about 28 minutes into our segment, and you can see that it didn't take very long. It took about 25 minutes to get everything taken care of here and there. We are going to be wrapping things up. I'm going to dish some of this stuff out, and we're going to try some of this.
I can't wait to taste this.
This one looks much better than the one I made the other day.
That looks like a great meal to take on the go.
And again, these things are stuff that you can take with you on the road. You can make this ahead of time and put it in a crock pot. Make a small version of it. Put it in a small crock pot. Take it with you. Every hotel has outlets. Just put it in there and you heat it up.
And when you come here, we've got microwaves.
Absolutely.
But if you make this, it's also good cold.
Yeah, it's a really good cold.
It really is.
So all these things that we do, you're going to be able to take with you on any one of your adventures. And as we're starting to wrap up, Heather, give us a little quick rundown of what's going to come up next and how things are going to tie in with our next continuation.
So we are going to actually talk a little bit more about some of the experiences people have had here on their own investigations of the Western Block. So we do a lot of paranormal public tours and private tours, and there's just so many experiences here. And we just want to say that, unlike the people thrown in the raceways, we are going to see you back next week.
So basically, anyone that's been thrown in the raceway is not here, but we want you guys to come back and watch what's going on with us, right?
Sounds good.
Sounds good. Thank you guys very much. We hope you enjoyed our first episode. Have a great night, and we will see you guys soon. Thank you, and good night. Bye.